Good morning from 310 Farms. It's a glorious day here. 80 plus degrees, significant humidity, so I'm sweating like crazy, which you can probably see in the sheen of my face. However, I wanted to give you guys a quick update on our planting growth, so I'm going to spin the camera here. I'll give you kind of a quick walk around. Spinach, of course, has gone crazy. Kale, mixed greens, red lettuce. This is cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. This bed we just planted, so there are beets and carrots coming up in here. The potatoes, of course, are massive. And here we have our bed of onions, growing like there's no tomorrow. But the project du jour is trellising for our tomatoes and pepper plants over here. So you can see they've gotten quite a bit larger since the last time we videoed these guys, but now it's time to get the trellising up so we can start to control their growth, getting them to grow up instead of out.
Nice if there's a wind today.
I know, it's one day we haven't had a breeze. obviously what we're trying to do here by way of explanation is encourage these plants to grow up and not out. Sometimes these plants, tomatoes, peppers, they get a little bit bushy. You can actually encourage more production if you ask them to go up. So we can actually encourage them to go up. We'll trim the bases, prune them up a little bit, but we'll actually get them to go up taller instead of out and big. Some of these want to bush out. You can encourage a lot of these, not all of them, but a lot of them to be more productive going the other direction. So that's the thought process here by way of explanation. We'll see. So far so good. Everything we planted has come up really, really well. In fact, all the native things have come up really, really well. Better than I anticipated based on what I know of the soil. It's very clay dense, but again, nature just wants to grow, so if you encourage it a little bit, it'll be working pretty well. We're gonna have lots and lots of salad greens as the summer wears on. We shouldn't have to buy any greens from the store, which is the plan, and then we will eventually putting in a root cellar as well, so all those potatoes and onions you saw, those will be getting harvested and put in the root cellar. So hopefully that's all going to work out for us. Good afternoon again, YouTube. So I'm going to bring you up to speed on the trellis work here. Taking the liberty of off camera dealing with some issues that I had as far as the layout was concerned, but roughly speaking, let me spin this around so you can see. You can see that I have wires that actually run the entire length. And these will have to be tightened a little bit, so I'm going to have to tweak this a little bit, but put up a center support. Anyways, these wires will run along, and then from each of these, we will drop down a string that will actually, there's some little plastic clips that are designed for this that will clip around the plant itself, and then the plant will want to climb up instead of out. So there's the rough lay of the land on that. That's kind of what it's going to look like, and it's not final. Like I said, I have to tweak it a little bit. Some adjustments have to be made on the wire and so forth, but that's kind of where we are. I do have to get some twine, which is actually up at my neighbor's house. I kind of forgot it on in his vehicle, but I'm gonna have to go get that, and then I'll finish this bad boy up. I also want to walk across here, give you a couple of other updates. So here, these are those trenches I drilled, or I cut so long ago when it was raining hard, to kind of isolate this field and keep some of the moisture out of here, which has worked really, really well. I am going to get some gravel now and fill these in so that we can drive across them, but it continues to isolate the patches that I wanted isolated. This is the rough framework for our greenhouse. It'll be about 12 feet tall in the middle, 8 feet tall at the sides, 15 by 30. This is probably not as big as it's going to get. It's probably going to get significantly bigger, but this is a place to start. Obviously I have work to do here, but the posts are in. And then the chicks are almost ready to come out into the wild. So we have our fence charger there on the ground, solar powered fence charger. This is a fence that will allow us to be really mobile. This actually just pulls up really quickly, rolls up, and we can move to a next location. So there is our mobile chicken coop that we built so long ago. Seems like forever ago now. And this is where they'll start their outside adventures. They'll have some shade here, get some sun as well. And speaking of the chicks, let's take you up to see the chicks so you can see just how close they are to being ready to come outside. So there's the chick brooder. And look at these chicks. You can barely call them chicks anymore. They're approaching pullets now, which you can see, and they're way more curious than they used to be. But we bought a variety pack, so we have several different species in here. Some of which I can't identify. There's a Rhode Island red in here. There's a New Hampshire red. There are some black, I can't remember what they're called, Mallorcas, I believe. A couple of leghorns, like this guy right here sticking his face at us. So this should be an interesting adventure once we get these guys out and get them laying. This will be an interesting one. So back once again at 310 Farms. The trellising project is pretty well complete, so I'm going to spin the camera here so you can kind of see what this looks like in its completion. So basically what it amounts to is you tie these strings to the top wires, the guide wires, which can be tightened and adjusted and so forth and so on. I'm going to get one of these little clips to show you. These little clips clamp around the base of the flower or the plant, pinch a piece of rope or wire or string or whatever in there, and they clip together, and then you can adjust these up and down as the plant grows, or you can add more to your string. The idea again is to encourage these plants to grow up instead of just out, so as they grow and change, we can adjust the strings accordingly. So this is kind of where this project is going to come to a close, but I wanted you to see the final completed project. So there it is. So goodbye from 310 Farms.